Sometimes having worries can be a good thing. It can keep you on your toes so you don't forget things and keep your mind sharp. And in this video I talk about some of the worries and slight anxieties I have when I venture out into the wilds of Scotland. I hope you enjoy the adventure, and here's me at the start in my van. Oh, right. Oh, good. Well, it's good evening for me. It's a Friday night. And I'm up in the Craigmeggy Nature Reserve, which might give you a hint as to what I'm doing tomorrow. But in this video I want to talk a wee bit about anxieties and worries I have, and I usually have these on most trips. And the first anxiety I always have is where I'm going to park, and will there be space, and if I'm in the van, can I stay overnight? And I do research before, but in this particular spot there's absolutely no issues with that. I went outside earlier on, took my torch so you could see, and there's a massive car park here, and you're allowed to stay over in the vans as well, as long as you've got your toilet and you're self-contained and all that sort of stuff, which I do. And I've made a donation as well. You can put a donation in. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to do too many bits to camera tonight. I've had something to eat already, chicken roll, which is quite nice in the Ridge Monkey. And I'm just going to settle down, and I'll probably bring you back and tell you a bit more about the numerous worries and anxieties that I have on every trip, which I think is good to talk about. I know a lot of people talk about mental health. It's not so much that. I wouldn't say that it affects my mental health, but certainly there's things that tick along the back of my head sometimes when I'm on these trips and before I go and all that sort of stuff. So I think I'll maybe share them with you, and we can have a chat about them tomorrow. But for now, I'm going to finish my cup of tea, get my bed down and chill out, and I'll see you guys nice and breezy in the morning. Oh, good morning. And things are looking okay. I'll spin you around and show you the sort of direction I'm going. I'm kind of going way up into this glen and up there, and I'm hoping to actually stop. There's a big loch in Coire, Ardair, which has some massive cliffs behind it. It's quite a popular winter climbing venue. I don't think there'll be much winter climbing going on today because the hills are a bit bare and it's quite mild. But anyway, yeah, I've got the bike. I'm actually cycling. You don't usually cycle in, but I'll come on to why that is. And anyway, once I'm done at the loch and the cliffs, I'm hoping to get some pictures there. And then I'm going to head up to this feature called the Window, and then up to this big cairn, which legend has it might be an old burial ground, but more of that later on as well. But for now, I'm going to get the bike and get going. So I'll report back when I'm heading up the trail. I set off on the bike, and before long I was out of the saddle and pushing the bike. I kind of knew that the first part of this path was relatively steep, and I was resigned to the fact that I'd be pushing some of it, but where I could I got back on the bike to cycle to make up that time. But things were looking okay at the moment. God, I'm knackered. I'll have a wee seat in this rock. Oh, wet hands now. Oh man. Right, oh, so tired, I'm so unfit, it's unbelievable. Anyway, I'm about halfway up. Let me just show you what I'm looking at. This is amazing. We have to take a picture. Look at this. Whoa. Look at that coming towards me. Beautiful. Right, let me just take a picture of this. I'll come back to you in a minute. Just with my phone. It's absolutely gorgeous. Right, if they come out half decent, I'll put them on the screen by now. So yeah, I'm about halfway up. Oh, a wee bit of water. It's raining a wee bit. And at the top here, you probably can, I don't know if you'll make it out, but that's Coire there. And there's a loch in there, or a big loch. I've never actually been here, but I'll come on to that in a wee while. But yeah, I'm knackered because I've kept on going. One of my other fears and worries, and this is totally irrational, is because I'm recording this, I get really embarrassed videoing or doing any videos when there's other people about. And because this is a Monroe, when I was leaving, there was lots of other parties leaving at the same time. And I've tried tried to cycle as fast as I can to make a bit of distance so I can do this sort of stuff without feeling like a right pleb. But yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. Hopefully people can't see me at the moment doing this. I'm looking like a right pleb. Get this light coming. I'm hoping this light's going to illuminate these cliffs. That's one of the plans, to get a photograph up here. But yeah, the cloud's down. It's not looking too promising. So let's get on a wee bit further, and yeah, I'll report back in a wee while. This was my first time up the path and up into this Coire. When I'd come here on my previous visits, I'd done a circuit round the glen and across the tops, taking in all 3 Munros, but I'd never actually come in along this path, so it's always nice going somewhere new. Right, hopefully you can hear me. It's really quite blustery. I've made it to the loch here, and this is Coire Ardair, and what I mean, the footage won't do it any justice, and certainly the photographs that I've seen of these quarries never do it any justice. This is just immense. You really have to come to experience it. The size of these cliffs is just amazing. I've never done any climbing here. I think there's some relatively easy grade gullies. In fact, there's one called Easy Gully. I think Rayburn's Gully's another one. But yeah, what a place. You've got to come here. The light's not very good, so I'm not going to take that many photographs. If I have taken any photographs, I'll put them up to now. But yeah, I'm just going to loiter here, and then I'm going to change myself into being a hill walker. Another worry that I had was I wasn't sure, because I've never been here before. I've done all the Munros and done a circuit round here, but I've never actually been in this way. I was a bit worried about whether that path was going to be cyclable, yeah, whether the bike would go along it, and it was okay. I'd say 50-50. But yeah, I'm going to talk about all these worries, and at the end I'm going to talk about things that I do to negate them and how I overcome them. But anyway, let's go down and see if I can get some photographs, and then I'm going to change and get going up onto the plateau. It's going to be really blowy up here. But yeah, let's go down here. Woo. Oh, right, I'm doing the transition into hill walker. I'm going to leave my bike here. Got my padlock just in case anybody wants to steal it. And yeah, time to get the poles out. But yeah, another worry is the weather. Always worry about it. It's to be really windy today. Freezing level, maybe snow on the tops. Freezing level just on the summits. So for the time of year, it's actually pretty mild. And there's, again, for the time of year, I'd expect these gullies behind me to be filled to the brim with snow, but they're pretty bare. Well, it's windy, so I get a wee bit of anxiety about what the weather's going to be like up here, especially when the cloud's down over the summits. I just need to make sure I've got all the correct stuff with me, all the correct maps and map and compass, and downloaded the right stuff onto my phone, and I've got a power bank for my phone should that run out of battery, blah 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 blah. A wee bit of worry about that, but yeah, what a place this is. I'm going to come back down here, so I'm hoping the light's going to be better and the weather improves by the time I get back down. I'm unsure whether I'm going to do 1 or 2 Munros today. I'll see how we go on up there, but for now, let's get this transition into hill walker done. I'll report back later on. Whew. So much for it being light rain showers. It's absolutely hosing it down. I've no idea whether the camera's picking up the sheets of rain coming down, but glad I've got my waterproof. Well, whilst I'm walking along here, hopefully you can hear me okay, because it's really quite windy. I don't know if you're steaming up here, let me just see. Another worry is keeping the camera gear bloody dry when I'm doing these things, especially in normal Scottish weather like today. But yeah, I thought I'd talk a wee bit more about the worries. And one of the big worries is, one of the serious worries is making sure I've got the right gear and that there's no gear failures. So for instance, with the bike, don't want it to fail. I've got a spare, pump and inner tube and all that sort of stuff. But more importantly, it's things for winter. Like have I remembered my crampons and my micro spikes. I have made the mistake before, just bringing micro spikes, and I had to turn around because that was dangerous. Micro spikes are fine. As you've heard me say a million times before, fine for iced up paths and compact snow, but it's probably more dangerous to wear them because they tend to ball up in yeah, sort of normal snowy conditions, or if you're going up steep or uneven paths, just the spikes don't fit to your boots as firmly. So there's that sort of stuff to worry about. Yeah, there's also a few other things which I'll come on to, upsetting people. I'll come on to that. That's the one that I struggle with, I get anxiety about. But yeah, look at this. I'm just doing this because I'm out of breath again. These cliffs really are spectacular, and I think Craig Meggie means craggy mountain, or mountain of the craggy bog, or something like that. It's not quite right, but anyway, let's head up to the window, and the window is this wee notch just there, and it looked like a window earlier on because the cloud was down acting as a ceiling. The only sort of clear bit was the window. So anyway, let's go. I'll maybe stop and take more photographs as if the weather improves. Let's get up here and I'll report back at the cairn I was talking about. Ooh, that wind. Right, I'm taking forever to get out up to the window. I've stopped to have a bite to eat. But the other thing that I've got today I've never tried before is, and I'm going to put them on now because my hands are quite cold, are these hand warmers. There we go, like that. So I did have my heated gloves, but they've stopped working. One of them stopped working, so they'll be getting sent back. Only used them 3 times, so let's try these. I think they're about 40p each, these hand warmers. Try these and see if it heats my hands up. I'll report back later on whether it does or not. Right, hand warmers getting deployed. Let's see what these bad boys are like. Right, that's me, got the hand warmers in, right, and they're warming my hands. Well, I had them in for about a minute, but so far so good. But yeah, I will, in all seriousness, report back and tell you how they are in comparison to the heated gloves. Right, let's go up to the window. Right, I'll be under. Oh, right, it's breezy, it's kind of knocking me about a wee bit, which is a bit annoying. It's actually annoying me, Ben. I'm almost at the window, which is here, and then we cut up to the left at about 900 metres here, just over 900 metres. So one of the reasons I came up through the glen was I knew it was going to be blustery today. It's like 30-mile-an-hour winds to 40 to 50-mile-an-hour gusts. So now I'm up in the plateau. I need to prepare for those winds, but nearly there. Let's see how bad it is up here and see if we can get up to this cairn. Woo! Time to put these goggles back on. Oh dear. Oh, right, goggles on. So I'm going to keep my goggles on because the snow's stinging my eyes. It's, we're probably over 1,000 metres now. The summit of Craig Meggie, I think, is 1,100 and I don't know, 36 I want to say. Might be wrong, but it's a high mountain. And as you can see, I'm now on the plateau. It's like a Cairn Gorms like, or Glen Shee like, these sort of hills. And the real features are the corries. I mean, there's 5 or 6 big corries which cut into the plateau. I've said this before about the Cairn Gorms as well. That's the most impressive feature of Craig Meggie. From memory, the views from the summit aren't that great because you don't get sort of views down below your feet. You've just got lots of land before it drops away. And there are 2 more Munros back down the way past the opposite way I came out of the window. Stobpot Coire Ardair, which I think it means pot or snout of Coire Ardair, and I think Cairn is the other one. Bit of a cheek to call them Munros really, because there's not much of a drop. It's a bit like a lot of these Munros. I'd say Craig Meggie is just one big massive sprawling plateau with a number of tops in it. But, anyway, let's get to this cairn and I'll give you the wee story, sad story about it. Let's go. Whew. Right, God, it's miserable. So much for it being sunny spells and light showers. Right, this is the cairn I was talking about. It's quite impressive. Let me show you. And you can see that, it's quite big. And some people think this is the summit, but it's not. It's known as Meg's Cairn, or Mad Meg. Let's just go up to the top. Mad Meg's Cairn, but I'll call it Meg's Cairn. I'll tell you a wee story about it. Yeah, this is quite impressive. Yeah, quite impressive. Let's drop down so I get some shelter. But yeah, so the story is, this is actually a burial mound. And this is a legend. There's no proof, historical proof, but it's not to say it's not true. And the story is that a local named Meg sadly committed suicide way back in the day. And folk were so cruel back then, you know, the fact that she'd committed suicide meant she couldn't be buried on sacred ground, so they wouldn't bury her in the church. So the thinking behind this is that they had to come up to the parish boundary, which is, this sits on the boundary of a few parishes apparently, and their family buried her here because of that. As I said, there's no proof that that's actually the truth, but yeah, there's no reason why it wouldn't be. The other thing is it could just be a shieling, but it's quite, you know, doesn't look like a shieling. It looks like a big mound anyway. So there you go, Meg's Cairn. Whether she's buried in there or not, who knows? But yeah, if you're coming up here on a day like today, this is not the top. The top's a wee bit further on, so that'd be something you could worry about. An anxiety to worry about. Make sure you get the right top. So let's move on. Oh, there's snow. To the true summit, and I'll report back at the top of Craig Meggie, which is over yonder that way. Let's go. Oh, this is brutal today, I tell you. It's a thing about these hills that are like plateaus. There's just no shelter from the wind up here. Whoa, and that's kind of sleety snow, wet snow. It's horrible. This is just perfect conditions for hypothermia. Anyway, I've got all the right gear. Again, another thing I sometimes worry about is making sure I have all the right gear. Don't want to forget. You wouldn't want to forget your hard shell on a day like today, because you get cold pretty quick. Right, let's get to the summit. After Meg's Cairn, you do need to walk for about another maybe 10 minutes before you reach the true summit of Craig Meggie. Oh Jesus, right, I might have just got really jammy. I've just arrived in the summit and the rain has stopped. God, I see the lens is all dirty. I'm probably just a misty mess. It looks like it's maybe clearing, so I might get some views on the way down, but I'm at the summit now. As I said, this is over 1100 metres, so it is one of the highest mountains in Scotland, but it's really exposed and it's not very pleasant, so I don't think I'll hang around for too long. I might start to make my way back down off the hill sooner rather than later, but a wee bite to eat here and then I'll get going. Whew. Oh, right, time to go. This is not pleasant. Miserable. It's stinging my eyes as well. Right, let's go. Oh. I don't know if the camera will pick it out, but it's an example of how quick things can change. I mean, it's literally been 15 minutes since I was at the Meg's Cairn, and I'm back at it now and everything's white. Okay, it looks darker on the camera, but this certainly wasn't like this just a matter of minutes ago, and if you're relying on following your footsteps, yeah, that can be an issue, especially when it's windy. Not that I'm doing that, I've been taking bearings and all that sort of jazz, but yeah, back at Meg's Cairn here. I'll bring you back probably when I get down to the window or down to the Coire now, because as I said, it's horrible. It's absolutely, I think a good term would be minging. It's minging. It certainly was minging and manky, and the rain and sleet and wind didn't really dissipate at all. So here I am at the window. Right, I've come down through the window, which is up yonder behind me. You can probably see it. It's still pissing it down. It's The forecast, I don't know if I've said this, I might be repeating myself. The forecast was for 50% chance of cloud-free Monroes, just fine. But just very light snow showers, but it has literally been heavy rain, heavy snow. Apart from that 2 minutes at the summit. Anyway, right, the other worries that I was going to talk about was upsetting people. And I feel quite bad sometimes. I must get maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 requests every week to go out with people, just on social media and stuff. And I just find it hard. I'm quite, I don't know, I find it hard to do that. I'm quite shy, I suppose. Although you wouldn't know if you're watching the videos, but yeah, I get so many requests through. I get so many messages as well. I try and answer most of the YouTube ones, but I just have to do it full time if I was answering all the messages I got on Instagram and X. I think that's the first time I've called it X, by the way. And then of course I don't want to upset the people that are closest to me, like my wife and my kids. It's a bit easier now because the kids are, you know, they work most weekends now anyway, my son is. But my daughter was asking, just yesterday actually, about coming out and doing Monroe, so I've suggested her to come out in the summer. That's the other thing. When people that I don't know ask me, I have no idea what their level of experience is, and I don't want to take them out on days like today and they don't have the right kit, blah 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 blah. So don't want to upset people, and that's like, even now I'm getting anxious about getting home in time to see my boss, the other half, and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, right, it says this is just miserable. Look at the ice up there in the cliffs. One or two winters that'll be a nice ice climb. Right, let's go. Let's get down to the bike and hope it's a nice cycle down the glen. That's me back at the bike, as you can probably tell. Oh, it's miserable. The cloud level has lifted a wee bit. Oh, so I'm going to get my helmet back on for the downhill section. I was going to stop here and take some photographs, and I might nip down and take a few on the phone. I was going to take some nice B-roll, but you know what, I'm just thoroughly soaked through. So what I'll do is I'll bring you back, probably I'll maybe video a wee bit of me cycling back. Hopefully it's going to be a nice cycle. I'll bring you back in the van and tell you what I do to kind of reduce my anxieties when I'm out in the hill. Oh god, right. Let's go, at least the rain stopped for now. Whew. Oh dear goodness gracious me, horrible. A slight break in the weather allowed me to get the camera out, so I took some footage and also some pictures which I'll put up now. The little break in the weather where it stopped raining didn't last very long. In fact, it was only 5 minutes. So yeah, I soon stopped taking pictures, got my backpack on and saddled up, and yeah, headed down the track, which was much better going downhill than it was coming up. And I may have had a little tumble en route down, but you'll be glad to hear I didn't manage to video it. But anyway, here's me back at the van, looking to warm up with a cup of tea. Oh, look how filthy I am. Came off my bike as well, I'll tell you all about that in a minute, but for the now, I'm going to get a cup of tea because I am cold and hungry and thirsty. Whew. Oh. Right, hopefully you can hear me. Just got the wee action cam. My big camera's broken, probably from the fall that I had. My handlebars clipped just a wee stubby tree on the way down. I was like right over them and managed to turn my shoulder, landed kind of on my bag and my shoulder, which broke the fall a wee bit. Took me back to my jiu-jitsu days. Oh. About 40 years ago. Anyway, so yeah, I think I was glad of the bike on the way down. It's still raining out there, by the way. Forecast was way off today, but anyway, that's life. So I was glad of the bike on the way down. It made, you know, short work, but as I said, I did come off. So yeah, talking a wee bit about those worries. I mean, there are lots of things you can do to negate them. Like for instance, the worry about is the track cyclable? I can't say that word. Can you take the bike up the path? I did Google that, and there was maybe one YouTube video with people going up it, and I must admit it was a lot better coming down than I thought it would be. So you can do things like that. You can look at avalanche forecast, the weather forecasts. Not today. Can be a bit better. In fact, that's a good. It's a really good example of why you should have all the gear at all times. Because had I looked at the forecast, I'd never have done this. But had I not taken my hard shells and thought it's not going to rain that much, I'll be fine. Yeah, I would have been up there suffering from hypothermia. So there's lots of stuff you can do and research. And I'm back early because I've had the bike, so I'll be able to get back to the wife and reduce that anxiety. But anyway, I'm going to shut up now. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. I'm going to have to go home and try and fix my camera. It could be an expensive repair, that one. But anyway, yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video. See you next week for another adventure. Right, time to go home. As I show you the stats, there's just a few things that I forgot to mention. The first being, how did the hand warmers do? Well, you know what? They were absolutely brilliant. That was until my gloves got soaking wet. I didn't have waterproof gloves, and as soon as they got wet, the hand warmers seemed to stop working. And I also just wanted to reiterate what I said at the start of the video about having worries or slight anxieties can sometimes be a good thing because it stops you becoming complacent and keeps you sharp to remind you of taking gear and checking forecasts and all that sort of good stuff that needs to be done before you go into the Scottish Hills. But anyway, I'm going to end the video here. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next week for another adventure.